So it started out on July 29th, 2023. The next day, July 30th, was actually my birthday. But on the 29th, my daughter, youngest daughter, Emily, and I actually had the opportunity to shoot a wedding for a very good friend's sons. And during the wedding, we had a tremendous good time. Emily is 19, and I remember, handing her. She was asking for my camera, before she was 2 years old, and without, any thought, I just basically handed her the camera. People around us was like, how can this little girl handle this big camera? But she held it, and she looked through it and find the photo, get her to press the button, see the photos in there, and she was happy. So to have the opportunity to shoot a wedding with her was just a tremendous, tremendous gift. And then after wedding, we're sorting through the photos, and, so I have my shots and she has hers. And so I was looking through it, and what was striking to me was how she sees things. We're basically at the same wedding, but she sees things differently than I do, right? And honestly, that really inspired me. For the past 3 years, I've been, living in my mom's place, taking care of her. So essentially for 3 years, 24/7, I was here. I did find a lot of creative outlets to expand myself. So I am actually free in this seemingly confined space. But after this wedding shoot, I start to see things. I made a mindful effort to say, okay, how can I see things differently? So one day I was right here washing dishes or something like that, right? And the hummingbird came over. And at that time I have a feeder like this, hanging basically on the overhang of the the roof. And hummingbird came over. And it dawned on me, it's like, I've been seeing this for 3 years. And I appreciate the hummingbird came over, but I never see it in a different light. So then at that time, I actually didn't know this window screen, or this new windows, the window screen actually slides open and shut. So in the beginning, the first day or the first week, I was actually, taking the entire screen out, put it on the side, and then right? So by opening this up and just having a camera, with whatever lens I have, right? I start to capture images of hummingbirds. The first photo was basically a silhouette, completely fuzzy. But I really like the line, the form. I start to see things differently. It doesn't have to be clear. It doesn't have to be crystal clear. But, when the form is right, it evokes something in me emotionally. Then I got hooked, okay? So I took my first hummingbird photo on August 11th. And today is September 15th. So I'm on my 5th week of taking hummingbird photos. And this is the studio, with a simple setup. And I'll go into detail of how I set these things up. If I explain these to you one at a time, you will find it very, very complicated. But when I put it together, it's very, very, very simple. Okay? With this, and these are just aluminum tray, I flatten them out so I can bend them and stuff like that, so it becomes my reflector. And I got these round gold cardboards basically off a cake pan, birthday cake. And I Velcro this entire window So I can put these reflectors anywhere I want. Then I set up the lights, you know, and I'll go over these in detail in other videos. And then all of a sudden, I can put stuff here. You know, put a feeder right here, for example. And invite the hummingbird to come to me. Because I physically cannot be outside. Well, first of all, I don't have a good garden, which I will plant, you know, the best I can next season. So I can't really go outside and chase hummingbirds or chase things. But I can open up the window, set it up, and invite the hummingbird in. So this gives me another level of freedom of creativity in this seemingly confined space. So that's really how this hummingbird studio came about, you know, an inspiration from my daughter to see things differently and to use whatever I have, right? You know, I have these camera gears that I haven't used for 3 years. So they will come out of the closet, right? And I start to shoot. And on and on and on, I start to find things to explore, right? You know, each and every setup has its own challenges. And just by meeting these challenges, resolving these challenges, finding ways to get around it, really, honestly, really stimulate me, okay? So that's the purpose for sharing sort of my first-hand experience or my excitement or this journey of, you know, being with the hummingbird. Actually, there's only one hummingbird that comes over, you know, I would say 99% of the time, because Chaser, which I named him, he chases away all the other hummingbirds. And ultimately, the real message is if we start to do something at a very, very fundamental level, very simple level, and we continue to evolve, meeting challenges, solving problems, right? Being creative, start to see things differently, then we get hugely, hugely rewarded. So instead of feeling this, it's like we're being trapped in this confined space or this, you know, physical, emotional responsibility or whatever, you know, find a way to express ourselves, find creative ways to, you know, it can be photography, it can be this, right? It can be writing, can be drawing, right? Can be singing, can be, you know, recording something that you write poems or whatever, you know, whatever you do, planting flowers, you know, to me, all these things are, you know, when we put our heart into it, when we find that we can actually go beyond this physical limitation and we can continue to create, then we're free. You know, that's really the essence of these series of videos. I don't know how long will I be able to do this, because eventually I gotta do something else. You know, back to my regular, you know, things as an acupuncturist. But as long as this happens, I will continue to do what I do and continue to share. Thank you.